thought I'd make a quick video for this weekend. As you all know, I go out and about walking, and I think of a lot of stuff when I'm out and about walking, and I'm trying to do some YouTube shorts. I put 3 online today, and I was sort of hoping for some feedback. Didn't get it. Maybe if I make a few more videos, shoot a few more YouTube shorts, maybe I'll get feedback on them because people will start to understand what I do. I suppose when I used to have Facebook pages and all my other business stuff, then you could actually get feedback from people. You could have conversations backwards and forwards. It's not that easy on YouTube. I don't want to do it on Instagram. I'm sort of like experimenting really. So if you do watch this channel, have a look at some of my YouTube shorts and put some of your comments underneath so we can get some conversations going backwards and forwards. So basically, doesn't matter what you've got in the way of cameras, equipment, doesn't matter what brand, anything at all. Photography is not about that. Photography is about creating an image. And if you look at a painting in a gallery, it's well composed, it's got great light, it's capturing a moment because someone's painting the moment. It's got emotional impact a lot of the time to you. Sometimes it has, sometimes it hasn't. Some of the greatest images have the best emotional impact. And you know, they've got a great subject, whether that be in street photography or landscape. So today we're going to talk about light, composition, moment, emotional impact, and great subject, and see where we're going to take that. Because every photograph is made up of these elements. As I say, go to a gallery, have a look around at a gallery of great paintings and great artists, from the Louvre to whatever gallery in London to a local gallery. Look at the way the gallery's lit the painting, and look at the painting itself to see how the artist has created the composition, painted all the light in the right places, and made it a great subject. So let's talk about light. If you're a street photographer, and my channel's mostly about street photography, but it can be used in any genre. Light, you either get it or you don't, and it depends when you go out. And you could be the type of photographer that goes out every single day, and sometimes you'll have light and sometimes you won't. Or you could be the type of photographer that goes out only when the light's great. There's a lot of YouTube channels, there's a lot of Instagram, there's a lot of people's photograph all just light and shade and this, that and the other because it's a popular thing at the moment. And they're all great. So I'm not knocking anyone's photography. What I'm talking about is great light. And if you look at Fan Ho's work, you will see a photographer that knows how to create great images with great light. Also, all the other elements come into play with Fan Ho's work as well, as they do with some of the greatest photographers in the world. Now, if you look at light, you've got to go out and you think, how can I use light in this image? And some days you have the most excellent light. My favourite light is just after a rainstorm when that sun comes out. And also autumn and winter and early mornings and late evenings. It's the landscape photographer's golden hour. But it's the same for street photography. If you go out and you can capture the light. And a lot of people always say to me about my window shots. Well, one of the things that I guarantee in my window shots is I've got light from somewhere. It's usually from inside the shop or the light from outside shining in the window. So I capture light in my images in that way myself personally. Now, composition, oh my God, I don't really want to talk about composition in my images. It's something you have to learn yourself. But if you go on the rule of thirds and you go and look that up, that's probably the easiest way to take great composition forward, because it's just easier to place your main subject on an element on a third. But I don't overly always look at it that way. I use it like as an end product really, and try and see if the image is balanced around those thirds. I don't actually just stick a subject on a third and see if it works. I try and balance it, and if you've got loads of subject matter on one side of the image and not much on the other, it's not really balanced. And landscape's the same. You've got to try and balance it out. So composition comes into play, and the only way you're ever going to work out composition is take some photographs and study composition. And all my videos are to make you go away and have a think and get some books and study. So if you want to go and look at great light, look up great light. If you want to look at great composition, study composition. There's loads of different techniques and everything to teach you composition. And some people say there's rules but break them. So it's up to you. Just go out and read about it and learn about it. Moment. If you can imagine being a landscape photographer, you can set up your camera, you set up all your filters, and there's just that moment where the sun comes out, or this piece of light comes down, or a ray of light comes in that combines with a fantastic composition, you will get that moment that you won't get any other time of day, night or year. There could be a cloud formation that comes in. This could happen, that could happen. That's why so many people use Photoshop in landscape photography, because as David Notton used to do, waiting for the moment is the most difficult thing in photography, from street photography to landscape photography. And people that just take photographs as a hobby haven't got time. So they, and some people call it cheat in Photoshop, or they use AI, or they do this and they do that. But trust me, those photographers that wait for the moment get a better image. You can argue that one all day long, but if you look at some of the greatest photographs ever taken, it happened in a moment because someone was there. The photograph in Manchester with the guy lying down with the beer on the floor, etc., etc. Everyone thinks that's a photograph I'd like to have taken. Well, yeah, you can go away and create that in some way, but at the end of the day, because it was taken as it was, it becomes elevated to the top, just like the cream comes to the top. So moments are important. They're very, very important, but it's better to capture that moment as it happens, as you see it, than try to create any other way. Obviously, studio photographers can create anything they want in a studio with great light, a great moment, great composition and great subject, because they put it all together. They go and find a great model, they go and find this, they go and find that. So at the end of the day, I'm keeping it street photography. So light, composition, moment, emotional impact really does uplift that photograph, because when you look at even the guy lying on the floor in Manchester with his arm outstretched, if you go and look at that image, the emotional impact is, the first thing you see is it looks like a Renaissance painting, and you think, wow, that's really good. So that creates that emotional impact. A lot of people photographed homeless people, and they still do to a certain extent, because they want to create an emotional impact, but it doesn't work because it's oversaturated. Everyone's seen it, and everyone knows they're actually cheating by trying to create a photograph by photographing a homeless person. Don McCullum, when he shot the guy with the black face, if you can go and look that up, who was lying in a fire or whatever, I can't exactly remember it is. The emotional impact is because of the way the bloke stared and everything else, and he was the first to do it. So being first is another one to create emotional impact. There's a set of angel wings in London a long time ago, and I can't remember who shot it first. And the first person that shot it got all those elements, and they got the emotional impact. After you've seen 150 people taking the same shot of the angel wings in London with a new subject in front of it, it just loses and gets diluted. Yes, of course, someone's going to eventually shoot a better subject. So the answer is, if you're a street photographer and you get out there and you see those angel wings, or you see something new that you might be able to fit in with a subject, get that best shot you can that time. Keep going back, keep going back. Hide your work, keep it hidden. Don't rush out to get it on Instagram. Hide it, keep it to yourself. Wait 6 months, a year. Get the best shot, then put it online. I had the same sort of issue as someone was mentioning it to me the other day with the Liverpool One stairs. I shot a couple of images, I put it online, and someone did a sort of an attempt at it and put it in the Landscape Photographer of the Year competition. That's a story for another day. But copying and sort of plagiarising people's work, everyone does it as a photographer to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, when it's yours and you've done it first, it does feel really good when you get something great. So light, composition, moment, emotional impact, great subject. You do not always get a great subject, trust me. You don't always get a great subject. This image has not got technical perfection, and to you it may not be a great subject, but to me it brings all the other elements together. And the reason is, it was a red hot day in Paris with David Gould, who had won a photography competition to come to Paris with me with Fujifilm. We've been out in 42-degree heat all day, drinking gallons and gallons of water, hadn't really got much. And I noticed this girl walking down the road in Paris, swinging her arms. And I ran down the road and I took the shot. It got loads and loads of feedback, got loads and loads of hits at the time. It was in a book, it was in this, that and the other. It was in loads of photography magazines. If you actually zoom into it and look at it close, it hasn't got technical perfection because I ran down the road and rushed it. But it's got a lot of the other elements, and it's got a lot of the other evidence for a lot of other reasons, and it also works in black and white and colour. What other elements do you need? Drama. If you add a bit of drama into your image, it creates something more interesting. I've been shooting a lot of stuff on my phone recently, and a landscape's a landscape, but when it's got moody skies and rain and it's gritty and black and white, to create that drama in it, if you put it on Instagram or anything, everyone goes, oh, I like that, that. Sometimes it's got to have a bit of soul. You know, like you can create soul in an image by just putting more of you into your work. The more of you put into the work, the better you get. Because the more of you and yourself you put in, the more you see and create things that are of interest to you. And if you see and create things that are of interest to you, they're of interest to other people as well, because people that start to follow you start to realize what you do. Mood, you know, street photography mood, even if someone goes like that, oh, hey, don't take my picture, it creates a different change. It's a different mood. It creates something different. And I'm not telling you now to go around and upset people so they do that. I noticed this week there's a BBC article on people taking disgusting videos and everything of women and girls in Manchester and Liverpool on nights out. It's the way it's done. Pavel, I can't remember his name is, did Cardiff photography on nightlife in Cardiff many years ago. His work was renowned as street photography. It was absolutely brilliant. It was tastefully done. It was great. There's a lot of people that will say, and I've got to be careful here in this day and age, that you know, you can't walk around dressed the way girls dress and etc. on a night out. And obviously girls I can dress however I want. But at the end of the day, if you're drunk and being sick all over the place and you're not wearing much clothing and people take your photograph, that's how you're behaving out on the street to a photograph taking the picture. Do I think it should be photographed the way it is? No, absolutely not. But at the end of the day, if you're in a public place, you are open to it. The police say they're going to clamp down on it in Manchester and Liverpool. And if that actually happens, it's going to be very interesting, because as a photographer out in a public place, you can photograph whatever you like. You don't need a model release, and yes, you're going to use it for commercial work. You can do what you like, and you can do what you like with the images. So I think it's a little bit about society and how you behave in public. And if you're going to behave in public in a bad way and then you're going to get photographed, I think you've both got something there. I've always tried to photograph people in a brilliant light to show them at their best and to photograph and show my photography is best. So I don't want to be known as a photographer that photographs things like that, the same as the people that photograph Ladies' Day. Martin Parr's done all that in a tasteful way, but to show it how it is. And I think it's a very, very clever person that can do that. So mood is a very, very difficult one. And atmosphere is a difficult one. Creating great atmosphere in an image takes a lot of practice and patience. And there's some really, really good photographers about it that are good at it. Creativity in what you do. Now, if you just follow around and you use the camera at the same eye level or whatever all the time, there's no creativity in it. Use shooting from waist level, changing the viewpoint, thinking about what you do, thinking about even if someone else shoots windows, how can I shoot windows differently? You've got to put your creativity in it, and it's really important to do that, to create your own work in your own time and the way you want it to see. Obviously, projects help with that as well. Raw emotion. Raw emotion comes in. Some of the best news photographs of the world, like the Napalm Girl, is all about raw emotion. How does it make your viewers see your image? And sometimes you can't look at your images the way you look at it when you review them. Look at them the way other people look at them and think to yourself, how does that person perceive what I've taken? Now you look at it and you think, well, that's not very well balanced. That doesn't really do anything for them. It's not going to do anything for me. I might have 6 clicks or 6 likes from that and not 10,000 or whatever, if that matters to you. So a lot of my work has a personal connection for a personal reason. My favourite photographs of all time have all got personal connection to me, for me, and they may not be of any interest to you at all whatsoever, but they have a personal connection to me. So just remember, drama, soul, mood, atmosphere, creativity, raw emotion, and personal connection. So really, what's it all about? It's about all those elements, but it's about the connective moments between you, the photographer, and your subject. And if you can bring them all together using all the elements I've just said, then you're going to create a great image. And the way you can improve on that image year on year, day on day, is to do projects, because then you can look back at your work and see how you're improving. Catch you on the next video.